G'day guys and welcome to Sin City, an NRL Magic Round review. Throughout this video I'm going to be speaking about the issues throughout the weekend as well as the good things. This is going to include both the good and bad. Probably going to be controversial, but I want to get my opinion out there, and a lot of other YouTubers have done the same thing and I think I side with them in that as well. I've spoken to them before they even put that content out and we all agree that we've got the same basis, but I think it's important for us all to speak up, those in the NRL community. So this is what I think, and I've summed it up by calling it Sin City.
It's right to entertain
So look guys, Magic Round was fantastic. Let's get it straight out there. It's a fantastic concept having all 16 teams at Suncorp Stadium, such a big ground with lots of food, lots of people, just absolutely awesome atmosphere. It was also the first time I got behind the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs. They were very close to beating the Canberra Raiders. Also got behind the St. George Illawarra Dragons. No vlog there, but got the signatures on the cap. And it was definitely my first time getting behind the Gold Coast Titans in that one. So I think one thing for me that I haven't done before that I had a lot of fun with was the giveaways. I'll include some clips for the giveaways now. Obviously there was a wallet, there was handballs, there was socks. I think it was a really good idea to help out fans with merchandise, even if they didn't have funds to get merchandise at Magic Round. They were thrown into the crowd. They were coming up to me, finding me, and it was a really good concept. So I'll include some clips now.
The Manly Seagulls. We've got Alpha, Kai from Alpha. How you going, mate? So as you know, he's a Tigers supporter. As you know, he's a West Tigers supporter. He's been on the channel before, and around 20 to 6. It was almost 20 to 10, 20 to 12 before half time, but Manly's defence withheld them. What do you see Brisbane doing in the second half? All right, here he is, Nick from Australia, in person. Mate, how you going? We're here at Magic Round at Suncorp Stadium, as you can see in the background. I mentioned the half-time score of 20 to 6. Can the Broncos win this game?
Only if they score first in the second half. Manly will.
He's a Bulldog supporter. Brody, what did I tip the West Tigers by?
22-10 by 12.
So Tigers by 12, they pick up a 22-point victory. And he gets a pair of West Tigers socks.
That's right.
Are you looking forward to the Bulldogs and Raiders tomorrow?
Over the moon, I'm excited.
Love it. All yours, brother. I realised that the giveaway winner was someone who was on our screens back in 2018. You may remember this shot. So yeah, we've got Brody here, who was obviously televised for basically screaming at the Broncos and Bulldogs game in 2018. He is a massive Bulldogs advocate, and the Bulldogs are down only 8-0 against a quality side, in my opinion, in the. As you have seen throughout the video, I've been doing some giveaways, and let's do one right now. Good day, mate. I want the right answer only. Who are you going for today?
Parramatta.
There you go, mate. All yours.
Yeah.
A fan has come down to the aisle, so what did I tip the Roosters by?
I tipped the Roosters by 2 tonight, and look what happened at the scoreboard.
They won by 14, mate. Well, you got it.
Almost.
You got what I tipped right. So tonight you've won yourself a Roosters wallet, buddy.
The heck?
You gotta fang this into the crowd for me, into the fans. You like a Raiders prize?
Yes, please.
Raiders key ring, little boot to put on the keys, mate.
Nice, thank you.
No. All right, it's time. Yes, here we go. Here we go. Hey! There we go, guys. Make sure you subscribe to entertain us if you want to see more great content like this.
Let's get into the actual game. So the first game, I didn't think the draw for Magic Round was ideal. I thought there were some okay games. I thought the Roosters and the Cowboys was a good game before I even watched it. Thought the Eels and the Warriors would be good. Thought the Panthers and the Titans might be good. Manly Brisbane, I thought that would be a good game. Is there any others? Not really. Now, the first game I wasn't going to attend, but I ended up attending, and I saw, obviously, Alpha Kai, and that was the West Tigers up against the Knights. Now, I did tip the Tigers for this one. I thought the Tigers were good. They're not consistent, though, and that's the thing. You don't see it week in, week out. This is where we started to see the sin bin. Now, as you've seen, the video is called Sin City. And it's not just because of the sin bin, it's the sins against rugby league. This is a sin that you have brought this type of thing into the game in this scenario. Now, what I mean by that is that players' safety, for my opinion, is so important. So the NRL has definitely done the right thing by saying that we will take one step further in protecting players, especially in regards to concussion, which we've seen in recent years. However, the extent that they've gone is extremely excessive. We've seen that over the weekend. It's not going to change anytime soon. I will address this further, but for me, the big sin is the way that Peter V'landys addressed the fans. Basically, on Friday night, after Tigers, and I'm trying to remember the Tigers game, I remember there was Moses Mbai who was sin-binned. There was another player, Lachlan Fitzgibbon, was sin-binned in that game. I think Tex Hoy may have been sin-binned. So we saw quite a few. I think we saw 3 or 4. I was like, wow, okay, wow. Okay. We go into Manly Broncos, a game I was really anticipated for, where I thought the Broncos have been okay this year. I thought they could compete with the Seagulls, but I thought the Seagulls would run away with it by about 12 points. It was 50-6. It was an absolute blowout. Now, a lot of calls went against Brisbane in this game. A lot of calls went Manly's way. I believe 4 Brisbane players were put on report. Jordan Ricky was quite soft, that one, in my opinion. There were a few throughout the weekend that I'll speak about. Now, after this, I can't remember who. I think Harry Grant may have been one. But players were jumping on Twitter at their outrage. And they were saying, look, guys, to the fans, do you agree with these new rules? Because we don't. We're not playing touch footy, things like this, right? And fans were responding. Fans were speaking up, having really good conversations with players in the conversations of Twitter, of social media, using it as a platform to get out there that this seems a little bit excessive. Obviously, you've brought it in this round, but is it going to stay? Or are we going to work together to achieve that goal? And Peter V'landys has come out on Saturday and said, this is my decision. This is about the protection of the players and nothing is going to change. And to me, that kind of felt like Peter V'landys was going, which I don't appreciate, because obviously you know how much I love rugby league. I know how much you guys all love rugby league. So look, I normally do vlogs and tipping videos, but this had to be put out there because my opinion of the situation is important. I'm a fan, and fans are so important to the game. The fact that I went to Magic Round and attended all 8 games, the fact that a lot of you went to Magic Round just shows how much we love rugby league, we care about rugby league, and we want to turn up to watch fantastic rugby league week in, week out. Now, there were some send-offs that were fair. Now, the Josh Papali'i one, I don't agree with. I think it's a sin bin. I think it's on report. I don't think it's a send-off for the entire game, but I think it's 50-50. So I think with that one, you can keep it to there. It is very disappointing, though, because Josh Papali'i will now not play Origin. He's had quite a tough season this year, so I won't get into that much too much. But Manly Brisbane, looking forward to it. Terrible game, 50-6. Tommy Turbo's great, you know. Yeah, terrible calls, terrible refereeing, terrible game. One of the worst refereeing games I've seen in a long time, and I'm talking a long time. I hated it. It was one of the worst games I've attended in a long time. I hated doing the vlog as well. You've got the Bulldogs and the Raiders game. Jack Whiten was sin-binned. Josh Papali'i, I mentioned. I don't think Josh Hodgson was, but I think he got put on report, and I believe he will miss 1 week. The next game was the Rabbitohs and the Sharks. There was a sin bin. I believe it was Jaden Sewer. Now, the funny thing is, guys, on Nick from Australia's vlog, I actually said, he said, how many sin bins do you think we're going to see this weekend? And as a joke, I said 14. Turns out, we saw 14 sin bins across all 8 games. Rabbitohs and Sharks was an okay game. I didn't think the Rabbitohs played too good, especially with a few of their ins coming back to the side. Still missing a lot in Latrell Mitchell and Cameron Murray through the middle of the field, but the Sharks looked okay for the most part. They came back in the second half, but it was a little too late for the Cronulla Sharks. I can't remember from the Sharks who was sin bin, but I want to speak about Chad Townsend being put on report because that was soft as he will probably get fined. I'm not sure if it's going to be for... He spoke back to the referee and basically said, look, we're not playing touch footy. What's going on here? Good on you, Chad. Fantastic. Give him a round of applause because players are speaking up against it. And it's important. Yes, we don't want head-high contact. We don't want players receiving concussion. But we don't want to watch a game where we know that there's going to be 4 sin bins and 2 send-offs every single game. It's just ridiculous. And it felt very comedic. It felt like it was a joke. It felt like something different. It didn't feel exactly like rugby league. It felt like I was watching another sport sometimes. Then you go to the Roosters and the Cowboys. Now, I want to speak about Tedesco here. Now, James Tedesco is a fantastic player. One of my favourite players to watch. Potentially the best rugby league player in the world. But James Tedesco, and a lot of people are blaming these guys, the Parramatta Eel, for these new rules coming in. Now, am I right on here, a Corey high shot? Yes, it was high. It was iffy, but it was high. The more I watch it, the more I realise that. But James Tedesco always, and I mean always, week in, week out, completely leans, ducks to make tackles look worse than they are. His collision with the head is caused by himself. He needs to go into a tackle in a different way because it's happening too much. And the Roosters we've seen get a lot of the calls. They're quite protected, like Melbourne. And now these rules have come in. Now, I'm not saying that James Tedesco is doing this on purpose, and I really hope he's not, because if it is, he knows it's gone too far. But I want to speak about the whole situation of players, not just James, but other players, leaning in and making it look like it's a really, really ugly shot, because it's happening too much with James Tedesco that I've picked up on, that I think that it is almost deliberate. But the Roosters Cowboys, I thought it was a good game. I thought it was a good game for Magic Round. I did enjoy it. A couple sin bins in that one. Thought Jared Hargraves had quite a good game. Surprised he didn't get sin bin. He was one of the players that I thought would get sin bin. I think on Saturday night I also said that I thought Fuimaanu was a bit not grubby, but he can get some bad shots in there. So I said he'll probably get sin bin to my partner and Nick. And obviously on Sunday we saw it. Now the Eels and the Warriors game, not a bad game. Not a bad game at all. No sin bins, no send off. Just a good flowing game. Now, obviously, you've made the game faster. There's going to be injury. You've got to address that, Peter V'landys. You've got to address that you have added rules that completely make the game faster. But at the same time, he is doing the right thing. He is protecting players' safety. It's just the fact that he's not working with the fans at present, which he will. I'm sure that he will. Otherwise, the send-off will be you, V'landys. No, it was a good free-flowing game. I enjoyed Parramatta Eels versus New Zealand Warriors. Warriors are probably a top 8 side this year, in my opinion. The way that they're playing, Reece Walsh looks fantastic. Ben Murdoch-Masila has to be up there for Buy of the Year. I think right now you'd argue that Benji Marshall's pretty damn close. Isaiah Papali'i from the Eels as well. There's quite a few in contention there. Then you go to this game. You go to the Dragons and the Storm. Now, at halftime, the Dragons were down 14 points to 10. They looked like they were competitive. They looked like they were going to win this game. Now, in the first half, Tyrell Fuimaanu, dog shot on Ryan Pappenhausen. It's a send-off. Regardless of the new crackdown, in my opinion, that particular high shot, that's a send-off. That's terrible, and that's 3 to 4 weeks, in my opinion. Max, or minimum, sorry. Now, a lot of people saying, and I would agree as well, that the Storm are a protected species and a lot of calls went against the Dragons in the sense, not calls going against, but The actual fact that there were high shots not even picked up on by the Melbourne Storm. And if you watch this game again, you can see shots from Felice Kafusi. I think there might be one from Addo Carr. Never ever picked up on. But at the same time, Dragons fans, you have to address that your second half was absolutely terrible. It's very unfortunate because I was getting behind the Dragons here. I was like, yeah, they're turning up. They've lost Dufty. They've lost Fumianu. They're putting in a good performance. But Melbourne too good in the end. Yes, calls didn't get picked up on, but the Dragons' defence was woeful. Now, the Dragons are going to be without Tarek Sims. They're going to be without Matt Dufty. They're going to be without Fumianu. They're going to be without Josh Maguire. It's going to be a really interesting 2 to 3 weeks for the Dragons, considering that they still are in the top 8. And the final game of Magic Round saw the Penrith Panthers up against the Gold Coast Titans. Now, obviously, guys, 2 months ago, I said that the Titans would be the first team to knock off the Penrith Panthers, and boy, was I wrong. But at the same time, they were missing a key player in David Fafita, going down 48 points to 12 in this one. Now, on the NRL tipping, I am a sneaky little bastard, and I did tip the Penrith Panthers, which means that on the tipping, technically, I got 8 out of 8, but on YouTube, I did not. I got 7 out of 8 because I did take that Tigers upset that not many people took. But I wanted to get this video out there to show you guys my opinion that yes, I'm all for the welfare and the protection of the players, but it can't be a singular thing between the NRL alone, bringing in rules that people don't like, ruining our game, making fans turn the TV off. You need to be coming together. You need to be working resolution. Even if Fox League and things like that, feedback on Facebook or something is taken into account to the NRL, and they're looking at comments going, we like this, 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 and this, and a result was put in. We were told nothing besides on Friday night that there was going to be a crackdown. We were told 2 hours before. I would never have imagined anything like what we've seen, and that is why not just the sim bins, but the way that it's been handled, I consider it Magic Round will be remembered as Sin City. Anyway, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Very different video to what I normally put out. I am very tired from Magic Round, so I am going to go and have a rest and have a bite now. Hope you guys enjoyed Magic Round. If you did attend, let me know in the comments what your favourite game was. I hope you enjoyed the vlogs that I put out. I put 5 vlogs out supporting different teams. Obviously getting behind my Eels. We've got a huge game on Sunday. Really looking forward to our rivalry with the Seagull. I'm not sure about my tips today, guys. I will probably put them out tomorrow. They could be out later tonight, but I just think with everything going on with the judiciary, might be a good opportunity to put them out tomorrow. Make sure you guys do like and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys for my tips.